This is a new series I'm starting, and I'm very happy and privileged and honored to have a first speaker that is my friend, very dear and near friend, Reema Shrestha. Though we know each other from very young age, that is when we were in a post graduation, when we were doing masters. But at present, she is a very good personality in the education sector. Let me introduce Reema Shrestha. Reema Shrestha is a director, South Asia, Girls Education and Gender Equality Room to Read. So, welcome, Reema.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hemangi, for having me and giving me this opportunity to speak and share my experience. Thank you. Nice to see
Yeah,
you.
yeah, same here. Let we start our conversation. As I said that this series will be on education, and most of the invitees or the speaker will be on education, those who have a different experiences on education. So first question I would like to ask you, Rima, uh, that could you tell us about the beginning of your professional journey? Where and how did your career start?
Thank you, Hema, for this question. Actually, that's a really interesting question. I always love to answer, enjoy talking about. So when I look back, I can see how every step led me to where I am today. Just to give you, as you know, my background, but I just wanted to give you my study background again. So as you said earlier, I studied Masters of Social Work with a specialization in urban community development in Pune, Bharati Vidyapit, India. And you also know that I lived in India for more than 9 years. I moved there for my education and completed my study from grade 11 all the way through my bachelor's in sociology and master's degree. So during my studies, I had opportunity to work in different places that shaped me a lot. I did on the job training in de-addiction center, taught street children in Mumbai, and I worked in rehabilitation center for rescued girls. They were trafficked, so those girls were kept in that rehabilitation center. So those experience really made me realize that I wanted to work closely with the community, especially with children and young women. When I came back after my master's to Nepal, I returned with lots of energy and ideas and wanted to do really meaningful at hometown. So, but finding a job was not really easy. So, after few years, I volunteered with organization working in street children and community empowerment. Later, I joined an organization named Pro Public, which is a pro bono organization who worked for gender. I worked in a gender unit, and my mainly role was to train community leaders on rights and empowerment. So I learned a lot there and worked with lawyers. But after some time, I felt that something was missing. So I wanted to work more directly with communities and younger people rather than mostly staying at the policy level and training level at that moment. So then I saw an advertisement from Room to Read for program director position. So you'll be stunned to hear that, as a beginner, I actually opted for the role of program director because I really wanted to join that organization. But I knew that somehow I might not be selected because for a beginner, applying to program director might be challenging. But so I did apply. But of course, I didn't get the program director position then. But after a few months later, I got call from Room to Read, Nepal, asking me to for an interview for program officer for girls education. So that's how the beginning of my journey in this education field started. So it's kind of a little bit dramatic.
Okay, yeah, that's really great. And I do remember that when we were doing masters, that time you were very interested in education, and I think even you were also parallelly teaching students,
Yeah.
those who were not proper enrolled in the college or schools. I do remember that you were going, you used to go to
Slum
slum.
dwellers, yes. Yeah, in
हाँ,
the.
so umbrellas for हाँ, teaching them, है ना? So that is there. So I think that
Mhm.
you were having that instinct from the very start that your focus is on education, and that is
Yeah.
very important point as well. So during your earlier years of your career, which issues or sectors or areas of development where you primarily working in?
So I work mainly in community development and education.
Mm-hmm.
So my work focused on supporting children, adolescent. So when I say adolescent, they were from age of 14 through 18s, and women from disadvantaged community. And I also was involved in a program related to girls' education, especially for gender equality. And I'm kind of more into life skills, developing curriculum, and youth empowerment and community participation. So because from the beginning I always believe to life skills will strengthen your confidence, so that's why I was into the life skills, creating curriculum and all. And these experience really helped me to understand the challenges that many children and family face, and inspired me to continue work to improve access to quality education, especially providing opportunity for girls and younger people. So that's how, so these are some of the issues where I was kind of more focused at the primary of the career.
Okay. Yeah. So, how did you become associated with Room to Read? And
Mhm.
could you share your journey within the organization, and how your responsibilities and leadership role have evolved over the years?
Mm. Yeah, so I told you, Hema, earlier my introduction section that I applied because I wanted to work in the community directly for the youth and girls. So I applied in Room to Read. I got in. So I joined Room to Read in 2006 as a girls' education program officer in Nepal. So at that time, girls' education program was just starting. So yeah, I can proudly say that was my baby. So I was really excited to be part of building it from the beginning. And over the years, I have taken a different roles and responsibility. So I moved from a program officer to program manager, and then senior program manager in Nepal. And then I moved to regional manager for South Asia, and then I shift to associate director, and now I serve as a director for the South Asia Girls Education and Gender Equality Program. And as my role grows, my responsibility have also changed. In the beginning, I was mainly focused on implementing program in Nepal and working closely with schools, communities, and local partners. But today, I provide technical leadership and strategic support for South Asia, working with the team in Nepal, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and Lebanon. So I support program design, curriculum development, government partnership, and regional learning to help, strengthen the quality and impact of our work. So looking back, it has always been an incredible journey of learning and growth. So every role has given me new experience and opportunity to contribute improving education and gender equality for children and adolescents. So this is what kind of very brief experience and association with Room to Read.
Yeah, and this is very important combination, education and gender equality, because in
Mm-hmm.
most of the sectors we can see that uh, gender disparity is always there,
Yeah,
mostly in the relation with boys and girls, and in education sector that is always been there, that girls has been given a lot more household responsibilities, and even they get married at very young age and then get
yeah,
children and
true.
all this. Yeah. So you have established yourself as a successful professional and leader.
Thank you.
You have written, yeah, you have written many articles and taken on significant responsibilities in the internationally renowned organization. At the same time, you have also managed your family responsibilities and supported your daughter's education in the United States. How have you balanced these different dimensions of your personal and professional life?
Yeah, so I think another great experience I would love to share about. I won't say it has always been easy, Hema. So, because balancing work and family is something I continue to learn every day. So, it's not always, experienced one. So, I learn every day. I believe that there is no perfect balance, but there are different priorities at different stages of life. One thing that has helped me is having a supportive family. Especially my husband has always encouraged me in my career, and we have worked together as a team to support our children. So we have shared responsibility. This part is really important, sharing responsibility, not from the perspective of helping your spouse, but from the perspective of this is my responsibility as well. So shared responsibility, and we also made important decisions together. So I believe that family responsibility should not fall only on women. So when responsibilities are shared, women have more opportunity to grow, lead, and contribute to society. So I have always experienced the expectation that society often place on women, because since you are also experienced and you are in the same society, you might also experience the same, that we should always excel at work while also taking full responsibility for home and family. So I don't understand why society thinks that we women are a superwoman, we should excel everywhere. The expectation is like that. So there have been times when I felt really guilty, for traveling frequently, spending long hours at work. So over time I realized that women should not feel guilty for pursuing their ambition or taking on the leadership. That feeling is really important, and instead we need to build support system, communicate openly with our families, and expect that we cannot be perfect all the time. So at work also I stayed organized. Maybe you should know now, plan ahead and focus on what matters most. That's
Yes.
my main priority. So I have always learned the importance of trusting my team as well, because as a leader I don't do it everything on myself. So I really want to I really delegate responsibility. I create a second leadership. So leadership is I believe that leadership is not about just doing everything by yourself. It is also about building strong team, empowering others and creating environment where people can succeed together. So this is very much important thing for the leader. And so when you say you talked about my daughter for United States, I just wanted to share a little bit more about how I experience, so when my daughter moved to United States, it was a proud moment. She went to United States for her education, and it was actually proud as well as very emotional challenge for me. But we always wanted her to have the best opportunity, so supporting her education was one of the most important decision we made as a family. So today I feel proud not only of her achievement, but also that she has grown into an independent and confident young woman. Throughout my career, I have actually tried to mentor colleagues, especially young women, and encourage them to believe in their abilities and take leadership roles. So I have also learned that taking care of myself is not a luxury, it is necessary. I think this part is really important for all of us, as a woman, to understand it. Taking care, sometimes if we feel guilty if you give a little bit more time for yourself. So we should remember that it is not luxury, it is really necessary, so for me, success is not measured only by awards or promotion or professional achievement, but it is about creating positive change through work, supporting the people around me, and showing that women can lead with confidence, which also builds strong and meaningful family relationship. leadership. So I hope my with this YouTube channel, I really hope my journey encourage that women to believe in, that they do not have to choose between having a successful career and fulfilling a personal life. So with support, planning, and self-belief, it is really important to build both.
Yeah,
This is what I
shared.
think.
There are some of the words you use like shared responsibilities
Yeah,
or second leaderships. So these are the things are very important. Even the second leadership, it's not necessary that you have to create at your workplace, but you also need to create in your home, your
yeah, right.
place. Yeah. So there
Absolutely.
you need not to worry about what is happening in your house, and
Hmm.
it is
True.
it is one of the very like achievement in your part that at a very young age you made your daughter to focus on her career, and now she is studying in United States of
Yeah,
America at very young age. Yeah, because it's not that seen in most of the houses, like the youngsters, they don't listen to their parent, like we usually hear that their children, they don't listen, and they take their own decisions. But in your case, you have maintained that kind of equilibrium at your workplace, but at the same time with your spouse, but at the same time with your children. And that is very important. We need to create a young generation in a leadership.
yeah,
So
true.
yeah, and a lot more lesson also I'm learning from you. So
Thank you. Yes, yeah, it's my
yeah,
privilege.
yeah. So you had traveled to and worked across several countries, including India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Laos, Cambodia, Pakistan, Vietnam, Japan, and the United States, Mauritius, and Thailand. So, based on your experiences, what similarities and differences have you observed among these countries, and particularly in education, gender equality, and climate justice, where your three areas where you are working? And please also share any other social, cultural, or developmental observations that you found significant.
Yeah, thank you. So I must say that this is one of the best part of my job, traveling, traveling to different places, meeting different people, learning from them. So that's the best part of my job. That's why I'm kind of still in room to read, working and connecting with people. So yes, so working across different countries has been the greatest learning, as I said, experience of my career. Although every country has its own culture, language, education system, but I have realized that many of the challenges children and young people face are somewhat surprisingly similar, So in education, especially, every country wants children to learn and succeed. So, however, the quality of education, teacher capacity, and access to learning opportunity vary from countries. But in countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Cambodia, and Laos, I've seen that many children, especially girls, still face barriers such as poverty. We talked about early marriage, social norms, limited resources, and unequal opportunities. But at the same time, I have also seen incredible commitment from teachers, communities, and government who are working hard to improve education. So one thing I have learned in that during this period of my experience is that there is no one size fits all solution, for all the countries. An approach that works well in one country may need to be adopted in another country. So because of this different culture, different languages, different education system and government priorities. So this is really important. So this has taught me the importance of listening first, understanding the local context and working together with a local partner instead of assuming that one model fits everyone. So this is what I really love about my job. So when it also comes to gender equality, I have found that challenges are often similar even though they appears in a different way. So across many countries, girls are expected to take on more household responsibility, have fewer opportunities, or face lower expectation than boys. However, I have also been inspired by girls who shows incredible determination when they are, given the chance to learn and lead. So there are so many successful stories I've been seeing and hearing. So through my work, I have seen how life skills, mentoring, supportive teachers, and engaged a family can help girls build confidence. They can stay in school for longer and they can make the informed decisions about their future. So when I need to talk about the climate part, so climate justice has become another important lessons from my travels to different countries. So countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Pakistan are among those most affected by climate change, even though they contribute very little to global emission. I have visited communities where floods, landslides, and extreme heat, even in India, for changing weather patterns have, disrupted children's education and daily lives. So these experiences have reinforced my belief that climate justice is also education issues, because I have realized that the people are still yet to realize, climate is something we should understand. We can contribute to, contribute to change the climate impact. So if children do not have safe space, or if disaster interrupt their learning, their future opportunities are affected. So that's why I have also learned that young people, especially girls, can become more powerful leaders in climate actions when they are given knowledge, skills, and opportunities to participate. When I why I am saying girls, because they are kind of more closer to the household work, more responsible, to make arrangement during disaster and all. So that's why it's really important, especially for girls, to become a powerful leader, and I believe that they can become a powerful leaders as well. So beyond my professional work, so I have also enjoyed learning about different cultures and tradition of the countries. Every place has taught me something really valuable. In Japan, I was really impressed by the strong culture of discipline, respect, and responsibility. And in the United States, I saw how universities encourages innovation, critical thinking, independent learning. And in South Asian countries, I experienced that warmth of family and communities, and a strong value of people placed on relationships. So despite of these differences, I found that people everywhere want the same thing, which is a good education for their children, and equal opportunity, safety, and a better future, So this could be a biggest lessons I have learned in that development is not only about policies, funding of program, but it is also about people. Real and lasting changes happen when communities, governments, schools, and young youth people work together. So these experiences have, made me a better leader, because they have taught me to be more open, more respectful of a different perspective, and more committed to finding solutions that are locally relevant while learning from global experience.
Yeah. So as you visited different countries, like some are developed or underdeveloped and
Yeah.
even developed countries. So what difference you find or you have found when in relation with education or gender equality and the climate change?
So I think differences, as well as we have also made. I find similarity as well. I think we have made a significant progress in education and gender equality in both area, but there is still a long way to go. So first, I think we need to ensure that every children had access education, and not just sit in the classroom. And then education should also education should also be part of, not only to access, but the quality education. And then they should help children to develop critical thinking problems. So this kind of system changes should happen in all the countries. So leadership, digital skills, and teachers also should continue the training and support, because they are also heart of quality education. And in regards to secondly about gender equality, eh, I think it's important for us everybody to understand that it is not only a woman's issue, you know. It is a societal issue, so we need to work not only with girls but also with boys. So that's really important part in all these countries, you know. We need to work with parents, teachers, and community that challenges harmful gender norms and create equal opportunities. I also believe that in these countries, governments, civil societies, you know, and private sectors, development partner also need to work more closely, which I see that they are working closely, but still, you know, we need to work on that, you know, because sustainable changes cannot be achieved by one organization alone. So strong partnership, evidence-based decision making, and long-term investment are really essential. And finally, I see that in these countries, it is really important for us to engage young people, youth. You know, I see we have started engaging young people, but it's really important to listen to them more, because too often we design programs for them instead of, you know, designing program with them. So, because young people have energy, ideas, and solutions, so if we create meaningful opportunities for them to participate and lead, so they can become more powerful agents. So and at last, I think overall my recommendation, biggest recommendation would be to, you know, invest in people. When we invest in quality education, gender equality, and leadership, young people's potential, we are not only improving individual lives, but we are also, you know, strengthening families, communities, and future of our country. So my experience has shown me that lasting changes happen when communities, government, schools, and young people work together and with a shared vision and commitment. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what I
Very,
mean. Yeah, I think so.
yeah. Very nice. Yeah, all these things, they should work together. Then only you will find the development. That is really true.
Right.
And yeah, involving youth and taking their ideas, working, because as you said that they also have a solution. It's not that they are only the young,
True.
but they also have a solution. It's absolutely right. So based on your extensive experience across South Asia and other regions, what measures would you recommend to improve education, gender equality, climate justice, and overall social development in South Asian countries specifically?
So as I said earlier, I think again, I think I would reiterate, you know. So I think first we really have to ensure that every children have access, but not only access to school, but with the quality, you know. So that is one thing. And as I again would emphasize that the gender equality should not be a woman issue. So, you know, we should also engage with boys and then all the communities, and especially working together with the government, society would be the most, you know, prioritized work, and then engaging, especially engaging young people is the most important part. I would say that that would be my recommendation to, you know, invest in people and work with young, and, you know, work in collaboration with communities, government, and then development sector,
Yeah,
and
great.
learning from each
So,
other. Yeah.
yeah, you are absolutely right. And thank you for emphasizing these points. So, Nepal has witnessed significant political and social developments in recent years, including youth-led protests and movements. So, what changes have you observed in Nepal's political, social, and cultural, educational, and healthcare landscape as a result of these developments?
Yeah, I think over the past 2 decades and recently also, so but I would say like past decades, I have seen Nepal go through many political and social changes, so it was not at all politically stable country. So but people are more aware, citizens are more engaged now, and young people today are like more informed, connected, and willing to speak up for transparency, good governance and better opportunities. So recently now, I see that Nepal has also become more open and inclusive with a greater conversation around gender equality. We have started talking about mental health. We have started talking about disability and rights of marginalized community, and at the same time, we are also trying to balance our rich culture and tradition with influence of rapidly changing this globalized world. We have made progress in education and healthcare, especially in improving access to girls and underserved community, but we still have a challenge remain in education quality. We still have to work on employment opportunity, more like healthcare access to the geographical challenge areas, and then the growing migration of young people is a challenge for Nepal. So we still have to work on that. So those areas we still need to work, and I really expect that that would be also having some solutions and improvement in these areas also. And then I believe that Nepal has now with the changed government is has enormous potential. So if we invest in young people, again I would like to emphasize that, to create opportunity at home, strengthen education and healthcare, and involve youth in decision making, I think they can play a powerful role in shaping a more inclusive and prosperous Nepal. So that's what I believe based on my experience and what I'm kind of reading right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like when the recent happenings here in India, so youth has changed
Yeah, they are more informed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. More in because of social media and because of digitalization and
Yeah,
now the reducing the cross-border kind of limitations. They
yeah,
are exchanging resources, they are exchanging knowledge, they are experience, they are exchanging their culture and their lifestyle and everything almost. And therefore, like
true.
now. Like now while talking to you, I suddenly felt that key why we don't have like global village kind of thing. So
Hmm.
why we don't think that or we should think that every country or every person should be enlightened or should be the part of the development
Absolutely.
process or
Right.
and every person's identity, every person's kind of the role is very important, and unless each person is not get certain kind of uh, benefit or having a certain kind of standard, we all people should work on the development of the society. So that's what I.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So now the rise of younger political leaders, including Balindra Shah, has attracted considerable attention in Nepal and across South Asia.
Yeah.
So, what hopes and expectations do you see among young people regarding political leadership, governance, and the future of Nepal?
Yeah, I think this is also a very interesting question, and Nepal faced huge change, after a decade. So I think the rise of younger leaders has given many young people hope, that change is possible. Because otherwise, if you see previous years, we in a way we were becoming hopeless. Nothing is gonna happen to Nepal. So this is what it is. I was also feeling that, okay, this is what it is. I will not see my country as a developed country, because I hate to hear that we are a developing country. But yeah, but then that hope has come, because of the younger leaders. So Now we want leaders who are really honest, accountable, transparent. Now we could see what's happening in the meeting and focus on solving real problems rather than making promises, going to events. So these young people also want more opportunity to participate in decision making and, to have their voice heard. At the same time, I believe that leadership is not also about age alone. So, whether young or experienced, what matters most is integrity. I believe in that integrity, vision, competence, and genuine commitment to serve people. So I'm hopeful actually, Hema. So I hope that Nepal continues to nurture leaders who can unite people and make evidence-based decisions and create opportunities so that young people can build their future in Nepal and we don't have to migrate and travel to other countries to find better lives. So that's what I hope, and I could see things are changing. So finger crossed and
Yeah.
be hopeful.
Excellent, excellent. Like till now, though, I'm very enriched by your uh,
Thank you.
experiences. Yeah. Yeah. And the more you are commenting on the young generation, it's really kind of noticing thing, and everyone
Yeah,
has to make it a point that we need to enroll. As you said, that we should not think of age. Leadership is
yeah,
not about age and all these things.
absolutely.
Excellent, excellent. Because here also in India, we recently have seen a lot more shift and Gen
Right.
Z movement, yeah, and the political shift in education minister, and we need and the accountability, and people are really integrity, and these are the really very important words. This is not just a word, but this is what it reflects your personality, and
True.
these personalities only can make changes in the society. No, nobody
Absolutely.
else. You are absolutely
Absolutely.
right.
Yes.
So in your opinion, what should be the most important priorities for government, civil society organizations, educational institutions, and the international organizations in advancing quality education, gender equality, and climate action?
Hmm. Thank you. So I must say that Hema, I'm not very much expert on all of this, providing opinion to the government. But based on my experience, I think I must share some of the point that I believe no single institution can solve this challenge alone. I also said in my previous response that we need to unite, work together. So government, civil society, education institution, and international organization, I think we all have important roles to play and we need to collaborate. So this collaboration is very essential, for development. The priority should be, to ensure every child has access to quality, not only access and also have an inclusive education while also investing in teachers, because sometimes we are mainly focused on access to education, but we do not think about teachers, which is the main backbone of the education. So we need to invest in teachers. We need to provide life skills. We need to provide the opportunity for digital learning in this changing world, AI world, and we have to create a safe learning environment, yeah, at school. So we need to also continue promoting gender equality by addressing harmful social norms, creating equal opportunity for both girls and boys, but then also engaging, especially I would say equal opportunity for women and girls, but also not forgetting boys, engaging them, boys and men, as a partner in change. So not segregating from them. As I said earlier, that when you talk about gender equality, it is not about the women issue. So we must engage and work with boys as well. And in terms of climate action, I think it should also become part of education, because I see that we have not talked about climate as a important issue or important things to learn learn. And then I don't see that we talk much about climate in our curriculum and in our regular schools. So I think it is important to make this climate action as a part of education, so that young people understand the challenges, and they are empowered to become part of solutions. Because when I I was working with a team to develop a climate curriculum, I realized that even myself, I did not knew that as a citizen alone, I can at least impact something. I can make change. I can make change in this world. Before, I never had that realization. So that's really important through education. That realization of climate action needed from each one of us is very important. So I think all decision and investment should be guided by evidence. I think with strong partnership and voice of young people again, and communities. So when we work together, I think we can create a meaningful and lasting change in this world.
Yeah, yeah. You are absolutely right. And what I feel that the climate or the environment part, it should be it is like your life. It is integrated in
Right.
your life. You
Directly
need to
related. Yes.
need to clean your or keep your environment clean and safe, greenery, and your water, you preserve your water, and so all these.
Yeah.
So it should be like it is your life, or it is not a teaching, but it is how you lead your life. So in a previous or
Exactly.
in area, how in a tribal or the previous generations, how they
What you
were more
use.
related. Huh. So they used to live within the forest area or nearby forest area, but taking care of the animals, taking care of the birds, taking care of themselves, taking care of the natural resources like mountain, river, water, air.
Yeah.
So as we are getting away from the rural
Nature.
or tribal areas and
Mm.
coming to the urban cities, so we need to find a new artificial kind of syllabus. But I
Mm.
feel that we continue that same kind of culture in the urban areas as well to make our society more greenery and more climate friendly. So
Yeah.
I feel that way. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we need to be aware that you're only one person. Your action can save many thing. The way
Correct.
you eat, the things you use. So I think that realization among each one of us very important.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. So we often observe that even highly educated women have the workforce, take career breaks, or limit their professional aspirations because of marriage, childcare, and family responsibilities. So men, however, are generally less likely to face the same experience. So why does this gender disparity continue, and what changes are needed within families, workplace, institutions, and society to enable women to continue and advance in their careers?
Yeah, I think I believe in this disparity continues because in many societies, women are still expected, to take a primary responsibility of childcare, household work, and caring for family members, even when they are, full-time careers. So these expectations are actually shaped by deeply rooted social norms that define what women and men are supposed to do. So, as a result, many talented women face difficult choices between their professional aspiration and family responsibility. So, changing this requires more than policy, I would say. So, it requires a shift in mindset, actually. Families need to share responsibility more equally, and men should be active partners in caregiving and household work. So workplaces should provide more flexible work arrangement, parental leave for both women and men, supportive leadership and equal opportunity for career growth. And even government should also invest in affordable childcare and family friendly policies. So at the same time, lasting changes start much earlier. So I would say before we think about all of these change. So in our education system, so I think we should think from early start. So schools should be the to promote gender transformative teaching and learning that encourages both boys and girls to question harmful gender stereotype, respect one another, and believe that everyone has equal rights, opportunity, and responsibilities. And when I say school, so teachers plays a very crucial role in creating classrooms, so where all children can participate, lead, and dream without being limited by traditional gender expectation. So if we help children develop these values from an early age, I think they would be growing as adults who build more equal families, workplaces, and communities. So this is why I say that education is one of the most powerful tools for changing social norms and achieving, lasting gender equality.
Yeah, great, excellent. Yeah, as you said, it is a norms, and we need to change that norms. And when we change that norms, then definitely we'll find some changes in the society, in the house or in the workplace. And we need to have certain kind of rules and regulations also in workplace. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Correct. So, from your experience, what major policy reforms are needed across South Asian countries to strengthen girls' education, women's economic participation and leadership, gender equality, and climate resilience?
Uh, yeah, so based on my experience, South Asian countries, when I say South Asian countries, I must say that I have like more experience on India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Pakistan more. So I should talk about those countries. So these South Asian countries have made important progress, but stronger implementation of policy is now more important than creating new one, because I think we have a good policies, but we need these policies that are adequately funded, well coordinated, and effectively implemented. Especially for girls education, government should invest in quality education, safe and inclusive schools, well trained teachers, life skills, digital skills, and support system that help girls to stay in school for longer and transition to higher education or employment, and also to increase women's economic participation and leadership. So policies should promote equal pay, family friendly workplaces, affordable childcare, parental leave for both women and men, and equal opportunity for leadership and decision making. We also need to remove the barriers that prevent women from accessing education, employment, and finance and entrepreneurship. So gender equality should be integrated across all of these sectors, not treated as a standalone issues. So this includes, promoting gender transformative education that helps girls and boys challenges these harmful gender norms and build mutual respect, and also develop shared responsibility from an early age. So changing mindset is just as important as changing policies. And in terms of climate, again, so climate resilience should also become a national policy. Government should invest in climate resilient schools and community, integrate climate education into school curriculum, and also ensure that women, girls, and young people are actively involved in climate planning and decision making. So finally, all these reforms should be driven by evidence, as I said, strong partnership and adequate investment. So this is what sustainable change happen, as I said earlier, when policies are translated into action and reach the people they are intended to serve.
You're correct. You're absolutely right. So, despite their political, economic, and cultural differences, the South Asian countries face many common challenges. So, do you think it is possible to develop a shared regional agenda or collaborative platform through which these countries can work together on education, gender equality, climate action, and youth development? If yes, what could such a common agenda look like?
I would say yes. I think I strongly believe that South Asian countries can develop a shared regional agenda. Although each country has its own political, economic, and cultural context, many of these challenges we face are similar, So, improving learning outcomes, achieving gender equality, addressing climate change, creating opportunity for young people, and preparing them for future. So, a regional platform would allow countries to learn from each other's successes and also challenges. So instead of working in isolation, I think they should come together to learn from each other. We could also share innovative practices, research, policies, curriculum, teacher training approaches, and then evidence on what works. So could also collaborate on a common issue such as girls education, digital learning, climate education, youth leadership, and skills for future. So I believe that young people should be at the center of agenda. So creating this opportunity for young youth from different countries to learn from one another, maybe exchanging ideas, work together for regional challenges would help build future leaders and who think beyond national boundaries. So climate change is also another area where regional collaboration is essential because it does not respect borders, South Asian countries can work together on this climate resilience, disaster preparedness, climate education, empowering young people to become climate leaders. So, I must say that ultimately a successful regional agenda should be built on partnership, mutual learning, and a shared commitment to ensure that every child and young person, regardless of where they live, have access to quality education, equal opportunities, and safe and sustainable future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, finally, drawing from your personal journey and leadership experience, what message would you like to give to girls, women, young professionals, and educators, future leaders across South Asia who aspire to create meaningful social change?
Uh, my message would be very simple. I would say believe in yourself and never stop learning because the world is changing quickly and learning is one of the greatest strengths you can have. Every experience, whether it brings success or failure, teaches us something valuable. This is what I learned. To girls and young women, I want to say that don't let anyone define your potential. Dream big. This is what we say in room to read, that everybody should dream big. Work hard, speak up, and have the confidence to take on leadership roles. Your voice really matters, and your ideas can create change. And to young professional and future leaders, I would say that remember, leadership is not because being having a title. So it is about serving others, listening with empathy, acting with integrity, and creating opportunity for people around you to grow. So be curious, stay humble, and never stop asking questions. And to educator, I would say thank you for an incredible role you play in shaping next generation. You are important. So you are not only teaching subjects, so you are also shaping values, confidence, and future of society. So by creating this inclusive, gender responsive, and supportive classroom, you can inspire every children to reach their full potential. And finally, I would encourage all of us to become change makers in our own communities. Social change does not really happen because of one person, or one organization. It happens when ordinary people take small, consistent actions every day. So if we work together, challenge unfair norms, invest in young people, and continue to believe in power of education, I want to emphasize that believe in power of education, we can build a more equal, peaceful, and sustainable future for South Asia. And at last, I just want to leave with one quote that has always guided me throughout my journey: is that be the change you wish to see in the world. I again would say that be the change you wish to see in this world. And I truly believe that meaningful change begins with each one of us. Thank you, Emma.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. It's really wonderful to have a talk with you, and this conversation that will definitely have impact on the society and young generation. Thank you for giving your time. Thank you for sharing your experiences, and thank you for sharing your thought. It really made me feel rich, and in the same way, it will impact on the society and whoever will listen our conversation.
Thank you, Hema, for having me, giving this opportunity to share my experience, whatever I know. I mean, being a bridge to this world to, share my experience, my voice. Thank you for having me. It is such a great pleasure. Thank you.